How old are you now?
I'm 61.
Why do you feel it's important that you finish at 61?
If I start something, I don't like to quit. I always like to finish. Even if I have to slow down for a little bit and then I have to myself up, pick myself up a little bit more and go back at it. But I'm not a quitter. So neither should you be.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Chandra Kydd of Smart Kid Concept, and today I have a great guest here with Miss Francie Habersham of Baudette, Georgia. A little small town. She said if you blink, you'll miss it. So Francie's here. He now resides in South Florida, and I wanted to just hopefully get a great, story and journey of, her GED breaking of barriers. Francie, just tell us a little bit about, what happened, that you weren't able to maybe finish high school in the traditional sense.
Well, during my senior year, my mom went in the hospital for a couple of months, and at the time I had 2 children, and I had nobody to keep them. So I went to the principal and told her I was going to drop out. She said no. She enrolled me in the night school, and that's what she wanted me to walk with my class. So I went the whole senior year, and when the test was canceled, when time to take the test, I said just forget it. But I was going to day school for nursing at the time, so I quit, continued to go to nursing school. But years later I went back. But being a single mom and raising kids by yourself, you gotta work and take care of them. It was kind of hard, to be honest, because I had no other help other than my mom. So I did it for a little bit, went to school, and then I stopped again. So 2015, I think it was, I started back again. Same thing, working long hours and trying to take care of kids and go to school. That was a lot. And it started taking toll on me, so I stopped again. In 2022, when I lost my sister, that was the push to give me to go back, because I was sitting around the house doing nothing. I said, this time I'm gonna go, and I'm not gonna stop until I finish. So right now, I've taken 3 tests and passed already, and I have 1 left, and that's math. And I'm struggling with that because I'll get so close, my foot is in the door. I'll take the test, I miss it by 1 point. I go back, I take it, I miss it by 2 or 3 points, or maybe 7 points. But that's not gonna stop me.
Right.
I'm gonna keep going. So, anybody out there that's struggling with a subject, my suggestion to you guys is to read. You gotta put that work in.
Right.
Because if you don't put that work in, you're not gonna be able to do it. You're gonna continue to struggle. And that's where I'm at now. I'm trying to put that work in. I go, sometime I'm like, I got it, and I miss it by that 1 point.
Wow.
But I'm not gonna stop.
Right.
And my theme song to myself is "Ain't No Stopping Me Now."
Wow. So you got me. So theme music is what motivates you.
That's my motivation.
That's your motivation. But so if you would so Francie, how old are you now?
I'm 61.
61 years young. All right.
Okay.
And so, I'm sure there are folks out there that might think, at this point, why go back? I got, at this age, what's the point? What would you suggest, or why do you feel it's important that you finish at 61?
Because I want to complete my journey. If I start something, I don't like to quit. I always like to finish. Even if I have to slow down for a little bit and then I have to myself up, pick myself up a little bit more and go back at it. But I'm not a quitter. So neither should you be.
Right. So, and that's very encouraging. You talked about your children So, your children, being a single mother and so forth, was a part of what made this journey maybe take a little bit longer than you'd hope, or
Yes.
a little bit more difficult. How many kids do you have?
I have 6.
You got 6.
And 22 grandchildren.
And 22 grandchildren. How do they support your journey, or how do they play a role in you going back and finishing? Do they understand it, or?
They understand it because they always tell me when I come home and like, Mom, what did you do in school today? And I show them, and they be like, Mom, you got this. Or when I schedule a test, they want to know that same day, Mom, did you pass? What did you do? And I want to back up a little bit.
Okay.
When I first started, I was in school, I think, for like 3 weeks, and I got Student of the Month.
Okay.
My grandkids wasn't doing so good in school, and I went back and I told them, look what I got. Only 3 weeks. Now I know y'all not gonna let grandma outdo you.
Wow.
Miss Kydd, they pumped it up.
They stepped it up.
And all 3 of them graduated.
Wow. So
with high scores.
So you inspired them to do better.
Yes.
Because if you can do it, they definitely can do it.
Right.
So, with the journey, and you mentioned about, your passing of your sister, what was it in that moment that said, now is the time for me to get it? What about that tragic incident made you feel like that was the time that I need to go back?
Well, we had talked about it, and she was the only one knew that I was going back to school. Number one, I said I'm going back and do this for her, and she know that I like to cook. And we always share different recipes and stuff. And I told her I'm going to get that culinary degree. So
okay,
that's one reason I went back. That's going to be for her.
Right. So you wanted to make sure that you finish in her name in honor of her, but then your next step would be to go after so you've been in medical field all this time, but now you're ready to pivot and go into culinary.
Right.
Is there anything specific you want to learn in your culinary journey?
Well, I love baking and pastries. Okay. But I also like to cook a variety of different foods. So I'm always in the kitchen.
Yeah, and you should check out Francie's Facebook page and her social media. She's always posting all of these Southern dishes, that seem to be like those old country dishes and so forth. Yes. And so because of that love of cooking, you now want to take it to the next level and get a culinary certification to really add that maybe professional layer onto what you do traditionally from, maybe those recipes you got from Georgia and down south and so forth. If you had to explain something that you wish you could share with someone about what they should really know going into this process, especially as a seasoned adult, what advice would you give for those who are older, who are maybe hesitant because maybe they are afraid, or they feel like they missed the boat, or they just feel like maybe they're not smart or wise enough? What advice would you give to an older person going back? I would advise them not to be scared. Don't be afraid, because all of the teachers that are at ATC, they're phenomenal. Miss Kydd, I wouldn't get up in front of a class, but we had an assignment, and that was in Miss Kydd's social study class. I had butterflies, I was nervous, but after that, Miss Kydd got me on social media, and I'm making video. I give shout out to Miss Kydd, but don't be afraid, because you got the help. If you need the help, ask, because if you don't ask, you're not going to get anything done. So don't be afraid. Start your journey. That's my advice to you guys. When you get stuck, because you mentioned the math is giving you a bit of a run for your money, what is it that keeps you trying again? What is it, or what are your methods and strategies to study to be better for the next time you attempt the test? I go over some of the assignments that I've done. I write it out, and I write it out again and see what I'm doing wrong. Watch videos, go on other sites, and different teachers teach different kind of ways, but
My thing is to watch videos and just write it out. You get it wrong, write it out again. And you're visualizing, you're looking, to figure out what am I doing wrong. That's what I do.
So you've already passed the, for those who don't know, in order to get your GED, you have to pass 4 subjects. You have to pass the reading and language, the math, the science, and the social studies. So far you've passed the science, the social studies, and the reading and language.
Yes.
Of those 3 that you've passed already, which of those 3 kind of gave you a little bit of a struggle as well?
Social study at first, because I took that like twice.
Mm-hmm.
But I went back and I made a higher score than I thought I was going to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because of you. Social study was my highest score.
Okay. Of all the ones that you passed?
Of all the ones I've passed.
Okay.
I give shouts out to Miss Kydd.
Thank you. Well, was there anything that you learned, that maybe you were shocked by it? Maybe it was something you learned in social studies or reading or science that you were, when you learned it, you were like, it stuck with you, like you still remember it to this day?
The biggest thing was getting me was those cartoons, because I'm looking at them and I really couldn't make out what it was trying to tell me. The larger head, the smaller head of the person, the words and whatever. I just had to read. And good thing I'm a good reader and I love to read, because finally it came to me, the political cartoon.
The political cartoons. Yes. So for those who don't know, you will probably encounter political cartoons where you have to interpret those graphics. So knowing a little bit of history is going to be helpful so that you can interpret those graphical images and so forth, and charts and maps. And so with those things, how would you describe your journey in one word? So far, your journey has been what?
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Why phenomenal?
Because I'm doing things that, at one point that I thought I wouldn't be able to do. And I'm just keeping up the pace. And for some odd reason, I give myself a pat on the back because I'm doing better than I thought I would.
Right.
Especially with the surgeries I've had.
Yeah.
And, that I thought that was going to take me down a little bit because I was having trouble reading. I was only seeing like fog.
Okay.
But I got past that.
Yeah. If you would share that a little bit with us. So you were starting to have, was this like a gradual issue, or this out of the blue you started having issues with your vision?
Yes.
And so you had to have surgery.
I had to have surgery in both eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was only seeing like fog.
Mm-hmm.
And it was preventing me from seeing. The first test I took, I told the lady, I'm not going to be able to do this because I can't see it.
Right.
But I made a 137 anyway. And I kept going back. And I can't remember her name, but they gave me the vision machine. And it's like a magnifier.
Okay.
And that helped me a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
So they provided that visual aid for you.
Yes.
Right. And that's a great thing to mention, if you have certain needs and maybe you need certain accommodations, we don't want, things that it's not that you couldn't read and comprehend. It was just you couldn't see clearly. So it was more of a visual issue,
right.
Not a comprehension and understanding issue.
Right.
So that's a great point to mention for those who have issues where you might need certain accommodations and assistance and aids, to help prove that you are proficient in these tests. That's something you want to advocate for, and it is possible and doable. If you have that support, it made all the difference. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that you advocated to get that support and that they were willing to accommodate you so that you could see to be able to perform well on the test.
Yes.
Right. So what are you going to do to celebrate when you get this math? Because you're going to get it, because you made up in your mind and you're doing this for your sister. What are you going to do when you finally get that GED diploma?
I don't know, Miss Kydd. I'm going to jump for joy. I'm going to jump for joy. I'm going to yell. I'm going to say, I finally did it. I got it. And thanks to all of the teachers at ATC, I made it. I'm going to shout all of you guys out.
Wow.
You know,
who you going to tell first?
Miss Kydd.
You going to tell me first? Wow, I get to know
I'm going to call Miss Kydd and say, Miss Kydd, I did it. I did it.
You got it.
Yes.
You got what you came for.
And Miss Kerrigan for pushing with that math. Mr. Henry, Miss Dunham, Miss Kim, which I only had her class a short 3 weeks and I passed. But you guys, the teachers are amazing. They're amazing.
You mentioned you like to watch the videos and so forth. So if you had to give advice to someone when they miss it by that 1 or 2 points, because that's a blow. I know it can be a disappointment. You know, what advice would you give to, you know, encourage a person to not let that throw them off? Because sometimes that is what throws folks off. They get so disappointed that they were so close. What's your best pearls of wisdom for those who are missing it by just that much?
Well, you already got your foot in the door. And I'm going to say this, if you fall, you got to get up, because you can't achieve nothing laying down. So you got to get up, keep your stride, keep going. Don't give up. You can feel it. You're right there. So don't give up. Keep going. I am, I can, and I will. That's what I'm going to tell you.
Wow. Well, you guys heard it from, you know, Miss Francie. 61. You have how many children?
Six
children and
22 grandchildren.
22 grandchildren. And just doing it in stride, not giving up. 3 out of the 4, 1 left, and still pushing. That I'm hoping will be great motivation to someone out there, or many of you out there, that it is not too late. You know, even if you're not trying to do this for a degree or, you know, a higher level of education or, you know, a job, just the fact of you finished what you started.
Do it for yourself.
Do it for yourself. That is going to really boost and motivate your confidence. I am certain of it, because I see you walking different. I'm gonna tell you something. When Francie, because the first one you passed was it social studies? When she passed social studies, you know, Francie walked different. You know, she talked different. I could tell her confidence had gone from a 2 to a 102. You know, you couldn't tell her nothing. Where I remember pushing you to task, after that you were ready to like take the next one. There was no stopping you. You were ready to move forward without hesitation. And I love to see that. And then when you announced you passed another test and then another test, it was like you just took off running. And explain that feeling of when you just started passing the one after the next after the next.
Well, after I passed the social studies, the next month I went back. It was month after month. It was like April, May, and June. I was only in science like 3 weeks, and I think I got a voucher. I took the test. I didn't pass, but I went back 2 weeks later and I passed. I didn't even tell Ms. Dunham I was taking the RLA. I went and I took it. The first time I took it, I passed.
Wow.
So
it was like boom, boom, boom. And now we got to slay that dragon we call math. As Miss
I'm going to get it.
Math is lit, as Miss Kerrigan says. But you're going to get it. It's not an ounce of doubt in my mind. It's yours. You keep fighting for it. Do you have any struggles right now that you need to overcome? You know, I know it was vision before. Do you have any other challenges that are maybe slowing you up at this moment?
The only thing I would say is like when I get to the testing center, I'm like, okay, I got this. It's like when I get to certain problems, it's like I get a brain freeze. And for some odd reason, I step out and I'm like, I knew that. But I picked the wrong answer anyway. So that's my only thing, to get over this brain freeze that I have on certain questions. I don't know if it's the question is intimidating me or what, but that's it. It's only certain questions though. So,
but you're going to get it, and I'm certain of it.
I'm gonna get it.
So any last advice that you want to share about your journey or encouragement? Is there anything you want to say, even if there were some family members watching or friends or just anyone in general who is hesitant about going back and getting their GED?
To go for it, you know. You have nothing to lose but plenty to gain. So, you know, don't be afraid. Step out on faith and go for what you know. You got this.
Yeah, you got this. And I'm here to tell you and reinforce, you got this, all right? And for those of you who would like a little bit more information and motivation, my book, Go Back to School and Get Better, is out and available everywhere. Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Walmart, eBay, it's everywhere. So if you guys need just a little bit more guidance and help, it's available for you. It's packed with action plans, study guides, resources to help you get motivated, stay motivated, and it tells lots of stories of students who've gone back and started that journey and finished. So you guys, I'm so glad you joined us today on a great opportunity to interview Miss Francie Habersham of Vidette, Georgia. If you blink, you'll miss it. All right, but I'm so glad you could join us today, Francie, and I'm certain your story will encourage and motivate someone to go back and get better. It is doable. You got this, you guys. I hope to see you all next time. I'm Chandra Kydd of Smart Kydd Concepts. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. We love you. Bye.